851, turn right, heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Welcome. Before I begin, I should give a disclaimer today that flights have been paid for in full by the team at Northern Pacific Airways who flew me out to the United States. Also, while this is a trip report reviewing the product provided by Delta, it was never agreed that a report had to be made. Therefore, this review is my honest thoughts on what was on offer to me as an aviation enthusiast, and I promise to be as non-biased as possible throughout. Welcome to Platform 2 at the Sydney Domestic Terminal train station as I look to travel one stop to the International Terminal for my flight today. Sydney offers bus and train links between terminals with the B set operating. These are 2-deck trains that are made up of 8 cars, and these B sets can be seen on the T2, T3 and T8 lines. Today though, we're travelling on the T8 line as you can see from the train arriving right now. The rail network is expansive, and throughout the stations, boards indicate the various lines that can be taken. Histopath has quickly become one of the airport's most essential and popular services, offering rapid testing and certificates. Hubs are in various Australian airports. While check-in remains essentially like a ghost town today, I will be flying on DL40, and that's with a departure time of 11:20. Ultimately though, as mentioned just before, the international terminal is largely empty, and with only 27 passengers checked in for economy today on DL40, it's not that hard to see why. For those who know a lot about me, you'll know I'm not from Sydney, so how did I get here? Well, here's a little quick recap for you. The farewell/departure gates at Sydney are somewhat underwhelming. While the appearance-wise it does look great, it's actually hard to find as it's tucked away in a corner. Conveniently, though, departure, there actually is a currency. Grabbed some US dollars. Upon clearing security, which was a very smooth process, potentially due to the lack of people, you're immediately greeted by a duty-free, which personally, this stuff is not for me, but it serves a purpose and is always fun to have a quick browse if you have some time before your flight. After a failed trip to the TRS, I did explore the terminal and had the pleasure of seeing a Qantas 7879. For the lovers of souvenirs, duty-free isn't short of finding something Australian, from cricket tops, stuffed plushies, mugs, and much more, which are all on offer to you. They even have a whole shelf full of Vegemite. Personally, not for me, but it might work for you. The airport also offers various vending machines and ATMs, which will definitely come in handy, as you'll see. For now though, let's take a look at some of the aircraft that are currently parked up at the International Terminal, awaiting their departure. You heard me mention only a few seconds ago how handy a vending machine is. That's because primarily due to the lower travel numbers and borders still being shut, several popular stores like McDonald's, Starbucks, pubs and many more that would have previously been operational are closed, so it makes for quite a dire terminal. Today though, I'm headed to one of the furthest gates away from the screening point. We're headed for gates 50 to 63 as well as various airline lounges. While it is definitely a distance away, it's nothing compared to the long walks you would experience at LAX or London Heathrow. I am flying during the pandemic, and Sydney Airport operates a mask policy and continuously recommends hygiene. This is purely for my dad who loves colourful socks. After walking a little further, we've arrived at the concourse I will be departing from. The vast majority of shops are closed, however there was a news agency opened, and I grabbed a bottle of water from the news agency and a sandwich for those that were curious. I'm filming today's trip report on a Panasonic HC VFX1, although I've sometimes switched to the iPhone as I found the quality to be better. This camera though itself is definitely showing signs of wear and tear, but one of the biggest lifesavers for me is these trolleys to carry your backpack around the terminal. While walking around, I did manage to get up close and personal with a United 777 wearing the updated livery for what would be my first sighting of the updated colours, and I must say I am quite the fan. You're currently looking at N2250U, a 777-300ER that was actually only delivered some 2 years ago. With 2 GE90s equipped, it in my opinion doesn't get much better than this, and Sydney definitely provides some spectacular views. Today I will be departing from Gate 61. Delta was very accommodating of my peanut allergy and actually allowed me to board the aircraft first so that I was able to wipe down the tray table and the seat in general. Here's the A350 that we'll be flying on today. That's N508DN, It'll be taking me from Sydney through to Los Angeles. It's a 4-year-old A350-900 and was delivered to the carrier in March of 2018. The boarding was smooth. Being first does have its benefits, and as I make my way down the aircraft, let me tell you about the product that Delta offers its customers. The A350-900s come in a 3 to 4 class configuration, if you will, with 32 closed suites that acting as Delta 1. This can be found at the front of the aircraft. Behind that, and where I'm entering the plane, is that of the Delta Premium seats with 48 seats. In between this and Economy, Delta has their Comfort Plus product, which can be reserved for an additional fee. And finally, at the rear of the cabin, you can find the economy class seats. Today, though, if you're curious, I'll be in seat 42A, with the overhead bins on offer as well. There's great storage for your backpack and other carry-on items. Located at every seat is a pillow with a blanket. However, with only 27 passengers in economy, I'll have 3 pillows and 3 blankets to myself, and having really a poor man's business, as it was best described on my Twitter. In every seat, there is a safety card if you want to have a quick browse of the aircraft, and there is a bag to be sick in. I do apologise for the thunder and lightning outside that you may be hearing during this recording. 42A provides brilliant views of the aircraft's wing, which is perfect for a trip report just like this one that I'm in the process of making. Although I have short legs, I found the legroom to be more than okay on the A350. In addition, the aircraft comes with adequate ports for charging your devices, larger or small, and for the tray table, it folds out and closes nicely, and I found it to be the perfect size to eat on. Below the IFE, there's a USB port as well as a headphone jack if you do wish to watch something on Delta's IFE network. Shortly after boarding, we were provided with a travel kit and some earphones too, as Delta best describes it, to tune out. Inside the travel kit, there was a hand washing towel, a blindfold, and some earmuffs if things get a little bit too noisy. Pushing back just after 11 AM local time with a relatively empty flight, things were definitely going smoothly, you could say. During our taxi, we did pass an American Airlines 787, which was also headed to Los Angeles, and for anyone tracking, it would be in a bit of a race with DL40, which was my flight, alongside a United Airlines 777 that we saw from earlier. Next, however, I'd like you to enjoy the roar of the RR Trent XWBs as we do depart Sydney for the States. I'll catch you once we've departed. Delta's IFE system comes equipped with all the goods you would expect, from Spotify, which is something I personally have not experienced before, to a number of various TV series. On Spotify though, before we get to those TV series, there's multiple playlists that you can go and listen to, from rap to pop to rock and a whole lot more. There's TV series like I mentioned, movies, and a whole lot more. Generally though, it's enough to be occupied for hours. As for the response time, I found the IFE to be very responsive to my touch. However, this has been a problem on other airlines, so I was more than pleased that this one worked well enough for me to scroll through. Shortly after takeoff, I was provided with a tablecloth, wipes, napkin, and cutlery, because lunch would be approaching before I'd know it. Delta has mood lighting on its A350, which sets the tone for the flight. And shortly after taking this clip, I was served a pasta dish with some mushrooms and vegetables. Having a peanut allergy, the Delta staff came up to me on numerous occasions to ask me about it, and were very kind and thoughtful. For a drink, I went with a stock standard Coke with ice. The airline offers in-flight Wi-Fi and messaging services for free. However, if you do wish to browse the internet or any form of social media and even receive images, it will come at a cost, but I personally was not willing to pay that, as it was looking upwards of $60. A light snack was served after, goldfished baked cheddar biscuits, which before eating I made into the word sub for subscribe, so if you haven't already subscribed, now would definitely be the time to appreciate this dedication as it took me quite a while. I didn't use the IFE personally, sticking to The Office, my all-time favourite TV series, and episodes were downloaded before the flight. The lights in the bathroom weren't working correctly, mainly because I could not lock the door fully, but here's a little review courtesy of my iPhone if you'd like to have a look at what the toilets look like on the Delta Airbus A350-900. Here is another angle of my poor man's business class. Spreading myself across 3 seats definitely has its pros and cons. The pros being, of course, the added space, cons being more likely to face cramps as I attempt to squish my legs into the 3 seats. Sunset on DL40, which would have usually been exquisite, was non-existent. Instead, we flew through white ash clouds for hours due to the volcanic eruption in Tonga a few days prior. It's something I've never experienced before, and I'm still sending all my support to those impacted by the events in the Pacific. We were served breakfast before landing, and after some pretty terrible shut-eye, I went with a waffle fruit tartar with a side of melon and yogurt. Cloud surfing during the night with an almost full moon is something I have never experienced until now, so sit back, relax, and not only enjoy the cloud surfing, but also the landing into Los Angeles, with a local touchdown time of around about 5:41 in the morning. Overall, I loved my experience with Delta. I'm an aviation enthusiast at heart first and foremost, and with that being said, I'm not that hard to please. However, from the product to the attention to detail of my peanut allergy, and generally as an experience overall, I loved it. I would happily fly them again, and I hope you enjoyed joining me on this review of the Delta A350-900 product, long haul, from Sydney through to Los Angeles. Do take care, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time.